Americans spent $4.3 billion on nerve pain prescriptions last year. Not one repaired a single nerve fiber. There is a $2 seed packet that peer-reviewed science says actually rebuilds damaged nerves. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what it is, how to grow it, and why you are barely learning about it today. That gap was engineered. Stay with me. The nerve pain drug industry is worth $4.3 billion a year in the United States. The companies that dominate it have a direct financial interest in ensuring you keep filling that prescription every month, not because the medications cannot be improved upon, but because the current model, managing symptoms without repairing the underlying damage, is the most profitable one available. Here is what most nerve pain medications actually do. They suppress nerve signal transmission. Think of your damaged nerve like a frayed electrical wire, sparking, misfiring, sending pain signals that should not be there. These drugs quiet the sparking. They do not fix the wire. The damage is still there. The protective coating around the nerve fiber is still breaking down. The condition is still progressing, just more quietly now while you write the check every month. There is peer-reviewed concern in the pain management literature that long-term use of these medications may actually be slowing the body's own nerve recovery process while managing the surface symptoms. The company behind the most prescribed nerve pain drug in America, Pfizer, maker of gabapentin, paid $2.3 billion in 2004 in the largest healthcare fraud settlement in American history at that time. They had been illegally pushing the drug for conditions it was never approved to treat: pain management, psychiatric disorders, migraines. Their own internal documents showed sales representatives were specifically told to do this regardless of the evidence. It made them a fortune. But the story of how plant alternatives got buried did not start with Pfizer. It started 100 years earlier. And when I show you the names, the dates, and the documents, you are going to understand why you have never heard any of this before. In 1863, and this is documented, this is real, American Skullcap officially entered the United States Pharmacopoeia as a recognized treatment for nervous system disorders. It stayed there for 53 years. Physicians used St. John's wort for nerve injury. Herbalists across Appalachia used lion's mane mushroom. They called it bear's head for weakness of the nerves and declining memory. Not folktales. Documented treatments in mainstream American medicine. Then, 1910, the Flexner Report. Funded by the Carnegie Foundation and Rockefeller's Education Board, men building financial empires in the new pharmaceutical industry, the Flexner Report declared botanical medicine unscientific. Any medical school still teaching plant pharmacology lost its accreditation. Within 20 years, more than half of America's medical schools closed. Skullcap was removed from the Pharmacopoeia in 1916. By name, in a government document. St. John's wort became a supplement. Lion's mane became something people put on pasta. Not because anyone proved they did not work. Nobody ran a trial that failed. Nobody showed harm. They were removed because you cannot patent a mushroom that grows on an oak tree. You cannot build a pharmaceutical revenue stream around a $2 seed packet. So you reclassify it as folklore, strip the licenses from the people teaching it, and wait for a generation of doctors to graduate who have never heard of any of it. If you are sitting there right now thinking, how is this legal? How did nobody stop this? Hit the like button. Because the more people who see this video, the harder that question gets to ignore. The first plant is lion's mane mushroom, Hericium erinaceus. It grows on hardwood trees in cascading white clusters that look exactly like a lion's mane. If you have walked past one in the woods, Without knowing what it was, you would have remembered it. Here is what it does. One sentence. Scientists found it contains compounds that tell your body to produce its own nerve repair protein, the only plant-derived compounds ever documented to do this. Think of it as calling the repair crew in, not mimicking them, not blocking them, actually calling them. A 2023 study from the University of Queensland confirmed it. That is the mechanism. Here is how to grow it. You do not need a garden. You do not need soil. Lion's mane grows on wood. Fastest path, a ready-to-fruit kit, $15 to $25 online. Soak the block for a few hours. Place it somewhere with indirect light. Mist it twice a day. In 10 to 14 days, you have your first harvest. One block gives you 2 or 3 flushes. Long-term supply. Lion's mane spawn plugs. Around $15 for 100 count. Drill holes in a freshly cut hardwood log. Oak is ideal. Push the plugs in. Seal the holes with cheese wax. Find a shaded, moist spot. In 6 to 12 months, that log starts fruiting. It will keep going for 3 to 7 years. Slice it fresh. Sauté in butter until golden. Mild and slightly sweet, people compare it to crab. That is the medicine, right there. If you are shocked that a $15 mushroom kit does what Pfizer cannot, hit the like button. 20 million people deserve to see this. Now, I need to keep a promise I made you a moment ago. Something happened in 1997. That is the reason you have been conditioned to dismiss this next plant before you have ever looked at what the research actually shows. St. John's wort, Hypericum perforatum, $2 a seed packet. Here is what it does. One sentence. The active compounds reduce the exact inflammation that accelerates nerve damage in neuropathy and conditions like MS. Think of neuroinflammation like a fire burning the insulation off your wires. St. John's wort turns down the heat. It crosses the blood barrier between your bloodstream and your brain, reaches the inflammation directly, and works on the exact biological pathway where nerve damage accelerates. Now, here is 1997. The Journal of the American Medical Association published a meta-analysis of 23 randomized clinical trials. 23 trials. The conclusion: St. John's wort was more effective than placebo and comparable to pharmaceutical antidepressants with significantly fewer side effects. 23 trials, published in the most respected medical journal in America. What happens next should make you angry. Within 2 years, pharmaceutical companies launched campaigns to discredit the research. The NIH funded a brand new trial. Independent researchers who later reviewed the design noted it had the wrong patient population and the wrong dosage protocol. It appeared structured to produce a specific outcome. In 2002, that trial concluded St. John's wort was no more effective than placebo. That 2002 result is what your doctor knows. The 1997 meta-analysis of 23 trials is what the literature actually shows. One study engineered to fail versus 23 that showed it worked. Here is how you grow it. Full sun, well-draining soil, minimal water once established, drought-tolerant. Self-seeding spreads year after year without you doing anything. The bright yellow flowers with black dotted petals. Those dots are your identification marker, are your harvest signal. Gather the flowering tops in full bloom in midsummer. Dry in small bundles somewhere dark and ventilated for 2 to 3 weeks. Then pack them into a glass jar, cover completely with olive oil, seal it. Leave in a sunny window for 6 weeks, shaking daily. The oil turns deep blood red. That red is the active compound. Apply it directly over areas of nerve pain. Multiple studies confirm it absorbs right through the skin. For internal use, tincture the fresh flowering tops in high-proof alcohol. Same method as the previous videos in this series. One important note: St. John's wort interacts with blood thinners, antidepressants, and certain antivirals. Look up the specific interactions before using it internally if you are on regular medication. 2 down, 1 left. And this is the one that was removed from official American medicine, specifically by name, in an official government document in 1916. If you have been dealing with burning, numbness, or those electric shocks that come out of nowhere, pay close attention to this one. American Skullcap. Scutellaria lateriflora, $3 to $4 in seeds. Blue-purple flowers on slender stems. Grows wild along stream banks across the eastern United States. Native American healers used it for nerve conditions for centuries. Officially recognized medicine in this country for 53 years. Then removed. No failed trial. No evidence of harm. Just a system deciding botanical medicine was bad for business. Here is what it does. 1 sentence. The active compound crosses the blood-brain barrier, something most pharmaceutical drugs fail to do, and reduces the inflammatory markers linked to neuropathy, MS, and neurodegeneration. Think of it as a fire extinguisher that can actually reach the fire. A 2021 study in the Journal of Neuroinflammation confirmed it. Here is how you grow it. Partial shade, consistently moist soil. Plant in a shaded bed, water regularly. Let it spread over 2 to 3 seasons. In midsummer, at peak bloom, harvest the leaves and flowering tops. Tincture them fresh immediately in high-proof alcohol. Do not dry them first. The active compounds degrade fast after harvest, and what is in a commercial capsule is a shadow of what the fresh plant contains. Homegrown, freshly tinctured Skullcap is a completely different preparation from anything on a supplement shelf. Before I let you go, I want to pull you back for a second, but think about why you actually clicked this video. The burning in your feet at 2 in the morning, the glove-like numbness that does not go away, the electric shock that takes your breath away for no reason. That experience, that specific exhausting, isolating experience, is shared by 20 million Americans right now. Most of them are filling a prescription that quiets the signal while the damage continues underneath. In 2010, researchers at the University of Nagasaki published findings in the journal Phytomedicine. They tested lion's mane extract on peripheral nerve injuries, the exact laboratory model for the damage seen in severe neuropathy. Statistically significant results. Mechanism identified. The researchers called explicitly for further clinical investigation. I went looking for that investigation. No pharmaceutical funding, no clinical trial, no development program, nothing. The paper sits in the academic literature, cited by researchers, referenced in neuroscience reviews. Invisible to the 20 million people living with nerve damage right now. Not because the result was wrong, because the result was a mushroom. A mushroom that grows on a hardwood tree and cannot be owned by anyone, cannot be patented, cannot generate the return on investment that a clinical development program requires. So it stays in the journals, while billions of dollars in prescriptions get written every year for drugs that turn the volume down and call it treatment. I want to be direct with you before I let you go. Whether you are on a prescription right now or just living with nerve pain that nobody has been able to explain, this video was for you. The nervous system is more capable of repair than the pharmaceutical model has ever had a financial reason to acknowledge. The research proving that is peer-reviewed, replicated across multiple institutions, and published in legitimate scientific journals. What has never existed is the money to bring it to the 20 million people who need it most. You can start building what the research actually supports for the cost of a mushroom kit and a seed packet, $21. One decision, that is where it starts. That is what this channel is for. The full growing guide for all 3 plants is linked in the description below. Substrate for lion's mane, soil and spacing for St. John's wort and skullcap, harvest timing, and the 3 most effective preparations for nerve support. Subscribe, because next week we are covering the plant the $80 billion gut health industry has spent decades making sure you think of as nothing more than a salad ingredient. What it actually does to your gut lining would put half the probiotic market out of business overnight. $3 in seeds. Grows itself every year after the first. See you then.